Hey guys, we're getting ready to have the 1977 NFC Championship game. It's going to be Steubenville at Wilmington. I'm going to go ahead and share this out here. If you guys want to join the broadcast, send me a message through Slack. I can see it quicker than I can through StreamYard. So send it through Slack if you would. And we'll be kicking off shortly, I believe. All right, we're about to kick off here. Two very good teams, of course. Steubenville 11-3. They were 8-0 in their division and lost late 27-0 to Wilmington. Wilmington hasn't lost this year, 14-0. So, and both teams, of course, won the divisional round. So we've got a good game coming up. Jim Hart, Lawrence McCutcheon, great defense. Good punt returner for both teams. Both of them have a touchdown and 11. Sounds like something kind of as an odd thing, but it came up twice. Kimbrough had one last week, and White Shoes had one for Dallas. So those are big. In 1977, not a lot of touchdowns on the board. So both teams having a touchdown on 11, big deal. Maybe on 3, but I mean, that's the chances. So here we go. Steubenville with the ball. Good field position at their own 37 to start the game. Nice wide receivers. Shirk has some big plays. Burrow and Swan, excellent wide receivers. Wilmington's main strength to me is a great defense as a whole. They've got a 6 at middle linebacker on the left side, nose tackle, right linebacker. Everybody else is a 5. Good defensive cards, excellent against the run, good against the pass. Here's McCutcheon, 9 yards. McCutcheon had a very nice game, somewhere around 150 yards in the divisional round. He had the game against Dallas in the regular season. That was the top rushing game in IFL this year, like 206, 208 yards. So here we go, 2nd and 1. Blitz being shown by the Generals. So linebacker guessed wrong. Morris will get 1. That's going to give them a fresh set of downs at their own 47. McCutcheon's a workhorse. He's got a ton of carries in him. You'll see similar from Newhouse and another guy that's got a lot of carries to go during the game for Wilmington. And here comes Dennis. Cool. Hey, Dennis.
Hey, go back to that full screen again. That always trips me up too.
Had my volume turned off on my speakers. Let me go back to full screen if you've already said that.
Yep, perfect.
I thought you might have. All right.
Nice.
Here we go. So 2nd and 10, Curly Colt making the play there. You have to be a 6, and there he is being a 6. Don't get as much credit for being a 6 on stock D cards, but it still comes up.
So which of these Looks like both of them have very good defensive cards, stock defensive cards that they're using. Do you know which teams they're associated with? I think this is Minnesota's defense for Wilmington.
I don't
check
think,
out Steubenville.
Yeah, I don't think Wilmington has Minnesota's.
Oh, no. Oh, okay, hold on. I'll check it. Go ahead, keep doing it, and I'll find out.
Okay. 3rd and 9, another really good receiver coming in off the bench, Steve Odom. He's got a good card for completions and yardage, etc. He's just a little high on the interceptions. The game's he only has 0 or 1 interceptions. He's definitely a strong quarterback for this card set. And there's a 13-yard pickup, Lawrence McCutcheon.
Just missed the sack there, 48% chance, and it was a random 50.
Yes.
Wilmington has Houston's defensive card.
Yep.
So love your blue for Wilmington. And Steubenville has Atlanta's. So Steubenville has the really crazy Atlanta one that's tough to beat.
Yeah, Wilmington's got some completions short, and they're not. There's a short game. They're not as dangerous on the interceptions as Steubenville is. Steubenville's got right at the league's best interceptions on their cards. Jim Hart, like I say, he's a solid quarterback, and he's within range here where you really worry about these, like Ken Burroughs got plus 20 and long gains all over the place. Get a receiver reading, and you're inside the 10. They're not really in field goal range, though, until they get inside the 23. That's one of the weaknesses of Steubenville's kicker. John Smith, great on extra points, better than league average on the shorter things inside the 40 for distance, but he struggles outside the 40. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and Wilmington's got those 2 6-rated linebackers, which helps in this rule set as well.
Absolutely.
I don't see a single 4 out there for Wilmington's defense, all 5s and 6s.
Yes. They're not loaded with pass rush, but they've got plenty to get by with. It's going to be a difficult thing for Wilmington, though, on the other side of the ball, is blocking Steubenville's pass rush. There's 2 for McCutcheon, 3rd and 8. So, they're really not in good field goal range. We'll take a look at it. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. He really drops off once you get to a certain point. 2 through 8, 11 and 12 at the 22, and then drops off to 2 through 4, 11 and 12. So really big cliff here outside the 22.
And of course, Dale's been living with that all year long, so he has probably developed his strategies on what to do in situations like this, where if you run, maybe you can pick it up enough to get a better field goal chance.
Yep, but you figure he's thinking 4-down territory if he's where he is now, maybe. So. Both these coaches not afraid to run on downs like this. Not showing blitz, 3-3-5 here for Wilmington. And McCutcheon will run it. He's going to pick up 5. Got a flag down on the play. Holding. They'll take that penalty. Kick him back out of field goal range. So it'll be 3rd and 18 at the Wilmington 35. And again, you may be, if you're Wilmington or Steubenville, thinking we might be in 2-down territory right here because this is a terrible spot to punt from.
Yeah, you want to get enough at least so you can hit whatever yardage is on the quarterback's short gain card or short pass card. So Hart's low is 13. So if he can get towards 4th and 13, you think about maybe going for it.
Yep, much like the NFL, one advantage of just putting the ball in the air, other than dump offs, is you get almost any penalty on the defense, and it's a first down. So nice pickup there from McCutcheon. 15 gets him into good field goal range, 2 through 8, 11, and 12. If the wind
exactly the same spot they would have been without the penalty, 4th and 3 at the 20.
Good point.
Maybe he's thinking about going for it now because he's taking his time on the formation.
He is.
Now here comes Mr. Smith.
John Smith. And he hits the 11. So he would have gotten that one from depth, but I doubt.
He got pushed back, so he got it.
Yeah. And the kickoff down to the 3, return 25 yards. Good solid yards on 6 for the kickoff returners for both teams. Not any big plays on 2, so they'll mostly be looking for the big punt returns. Here's Kenny Anderson. Has led 4 consecutive great Generals teams, going 13-1. What was it? 12-2, 12-2, and 14-0. So short pass guess wrong to Washington. This is the San Francisco Gene Washington, of course. There's association hit. He breaks a long gain. It's going for a long way down the field, 63 yards, and he fumbles, and Steubenville falls on it inside the 10.
Oh, my.
Stripped by the defensive back. Washington trying to get away, and the defender got in there, got his hand on the ball, and Curtis Johnson falls on the ball, former Miami Dolphin.
So Wilmington, how many times did they win the championship with Anderson?
Just the one so far.
So this could be their second championship. That was a great pick for him. Do you remember where he went in that draft?
Who's that?
Ken Anderson.
He was obvious number 1.
Was he? Okay.
In real life, I don't remember exactly. He wasn't in the top 5 or so. But in our IFL draft, yeah, he was probably the best player to come out in quite a few year period. He, to me, is the best quarterback, of the 70s all in all for Strat.
Yeah. And again, another example of a coach getting maybe their favorite team's favorite, one of their favorite players, Jay being a Bengals fan.
He actually had another team that ended up 4th in the lottery that year. An open team had the Kenny Anderson pick, and I gave him an opportunity because it's only his first or second year in the league. I gave him an opportunity to switch and take over that team so he could have Kenny Anderson, and he did. So
nice. Yeah, that'd be like
every so often just by accident.
Yeah, that'd be like me offering me the chance to pick up Russell Wilson in a new with an expansion team or whatever.
Yeah. So 3rd and 8 coming up. Wilmington declining the penalty, and we'll see if they're going to try. Nope, I'm going to try to bring pressure.
He has been dropping those linebackers in earlier in the downs, try to maybe force a safety there or a sack strip fumble.
Yep. You may see some doubles here. Like I say, Shark's got some big yardage guess wrong. Yep, there's the double I was thinking he would do on the wideouts. It's going to be 4 for McCutcheon, and we'll have a punt. After the long catch and eventual fumble by Gene Washington, Bill's happy to see Ray Guy come on and give the defense a little bit of distance. Dangerous returner. This guy's not bad, but he's not as good as Moody. 14. Take a look at the punt returners for Wilmington. You see Keith Moody's got the touchdown on 11 there, and plus 18, plus 12, so he can make a difference. Jim Smith's not bad, and like I say, both these guys have got solid yards on 6, just no big plays. Wilmington's got a couple of special teams problems, a 12 kicked block on punt and 10-11 extra point misses. So 1st and 10 to Steubenville 48.
You got a 5-yard run on 1st down with an inadvertent face mask to get him into Steubenville territory.
So Steubenville only had one defensive play before this series of downs. So look in, no good. Looking for Billy Joe Dupree, who's right among the league leaders, if not the league leader in receptions. So he and Anderson get together quite a bit on those little flat passes. Again, both these coaches will run on second and long, so it's not necessarily a passing down. Off tackle Newhouse. Dale's right on the call. Pickup of 1. No problems with fumbles for Newhouse. I'm not even sure he fumbled. I think I remember Jay's write-up saying he didn't lose a fumble all year, and just steadily gains 3, 5, 6 yards, occasional short gain, but one of those guys that can eat a lot of carries for you and play it downhill in the fourth quarter a lot. Those guys are nice to have. Got a good protection set in here with the extra tight end. Linville Elliott still giving him some kind of a running threat. It's got some short gains and +9s, but on 3rd and 9, not as likely to see a run. Dale stays in the 4-3.
Dale's called run on every defensive play up till now, but this is a passing situation.
The double team on Joyner, short to Washington to get incomplete, and this will lead to a punt. Pat McAnally.
So as good as Ken Anderson's card is, his flat pass is probably one of the weaker ones he's had so far.
And this is not a good Ken Anderson card for the 70s or early 80s. This is one of his worst cards once he kind of gets into his groove. But Jay's done a great job of working with that. He's got a good guess wrong long card and low turnover, so you can definitely find ways to work around that. See if Wilmington, yes, they're going to show blitz again. Off tackle, guess wrong. Morris is going to get 3.
3 on the dreaded 5. That's not too bad.
Yep. See Morris with a 30 fumble there. So what's that? 60 guessed right and
75 or so. Keyed, maybe 80.
Yep. I'm sure you we were talking about earlier. Look at the nice guessed wrong big plays for a tight end. So if he hits something down around the edges, could get a big play out of the tight end spot. 2nd and 7 incomplete. Steubenville leading 3-0. 4:30 left in the first. 3rd and 7.
What's the over-under on punts today with these two excellent defensive cards at coaches and personnel?
11. Maybe 9. Be quite a few.
Yeah, it just depends on where they land, I guess.
Yep. Here's Odom back in, 3 wide receiver, 1 fullback set with Testerman in. Testerman not necessarily a great end runner to my knowledge, so he would be running toward a 6 if he runs up the middle. He's not in a shotgun here.
Yeah, off tackle's his best column for sure. There it is.
Off tackle, and he gets the box.
We talked a lot about Ken Anderson. Jim Hart is another guy that's got his one of his favorite quarterbacks on one of his favorite teams. I know Dale likes the Chiefs and the Cardinals.
Yep.
And this is a similar card to Anderson. It looks like in a lot of ways.
Yep. And I want to say Hart was already on the team maybe by the time he took him over. I can't remember for sure, but I think Hart and maybe Plunkett were already there. Plunkett might have been a guy he took, but I believe Hart was already there. Mike Kudok originally had this team and ran it very well for quite a few years. He wasn't getting into the playoffs, but it was just one of those teams being well built, and they were just like the right pick, kind of putting them over the top from becoming a playoff level team. So 2nd and 6. Big pickup.
Dale trying to get out of this field position hole that
Yep.
Jay's put him in, and a couple more first downs will do that.
Yep, that was a big pickup on 3rd down for Testerman for sure. And there's a first down. Lawrence McCutcheon, 9 carries, 53 yards. 3 minutes left in the first. McCutcheon's one of those every column kind of guys. You can go end run, line, buck, off tackle with him.
Nice. And then with Ray Guy as your punter, I think Dale's already accomplished part of his mission on this drive, which is to flip the field a little bit.
Yeah, he was punting last week, 2 white shoes, and I was trying not to punt to Kimbrough, but I was down in the game at one point and kind of needing a field position because my offense wasn't running well. It's like, I'm going to take a chance because Kimbrough's got a big fumble, and instead he got the touchdown. And then later, White Shoes got one the same quarter, but Dale wasn't trying to kick away from him. We'll see. I think Jay may kick away a little bit from Kimbrough at times, but we'll see if Ray Guy just kicks it, normally. That's an interesting little cat and mouse game that goes on with great punt returners. There's a movement on the offensive line. It's going to move them back 5 yards, 2nd and 11. Not showing blitz. Off tackle, guessed right for 0. Now, guessed wrong. Testerman would have popped a short gain there. Good job by Jay setting up a 3rd and 11.
Steubenville's had the ball for just about the entire game so far. I think we have 1 minute of possession for Wilmington. Steubenville's had the ball for the other 10.
Yep.
Or 12, whatever it is.
Sometimes that works against you on offense if you don't have a lot of rushing carries, but normally teams have enough carries that's not a thing you worry about. But I've seen that work against certain teams that are kind of thin in rushing attempts.
Yeah, you get to the point where you've used up half your carries and you have 3 points to show for it. You're not feeling real good about it.
Yeah, they have a couple like 12 play drives and half of them were runs, and all of a sudden, their lead runner had like 17. Unfatigued, and now he's down to 5, and you're like, wow, it's early second here. Got a ways to go.
On that penalty play right there, Testerman fumbled the ball. Of course, we see that in the play-by-play log. So I avoided that mishap by having the penalty wipe it out.
So 3rd and 16. Receivers can get a receiver reading and make the catch and make a first down. Here's a personal foul, 15 yards. He's going to move the ball out to the 49.
So penalties put him in a hole, and penalties got him out of the hole. Went from 2nd and 5 to 3rd and 16, and now he's got the first down.
They normally kind of balance out. They throw a lot of random kind of play down and distance situations, and I believe a little extra strategy into the game from time to time, but they're normally not the deciding factor in a game.
I would agree with that.
So 2nd and 10. McCutcheon stopped. 10 carries, 53 yards. Maybe the last play if it stays in bounds the quarter.
Jay's been calling a lot of runs on this drive, and we'll see if Dale switches it up and starts throwing it a bit more.
Harmon's a good receiving running back. In run right, McCutcheon, only 1 there. 5-yard penalty. It's going to set up 2nd and 5. So the refs are getting a little work in here late in the first quarter. 18 seconds left. McCutcheon's a good receiver also, and you see teams stay in pro sets a lot of times more in this era just because the receivers, the guys out of the backfield are good receivers, especially if you've got blitzers coming and they end up with guess wrong on their card, they're better than the wide receivers quite often for picking up first downs. It's a 10-yard pickup for Swan. 1st and 10 at the Wilmington 36 as we begin the second quarter. Steubenville up 3-0.
He's switching around those fullbacks. Wayne Morris in there now.
Yeah. It's a 1-yard pickup. Extra linebacker help there. Would have been +2 only. Excellent run defensive cards for the Generals. So we got a 2nd and 9. They do give up a long gain on 2 off tackle and run, so you do get that edge roll, even though they're excellent. They do give up the big play.
And you already talked about the field goal range that issues that Steubenville had, so they need to get in a little bit more. I'll be right back.
Okay. Take a quick look at Jim Hart's card. Like I say, very solid card for 1977. Reasonable flat. Wouldn't be a very good flat card, of course, for different eras, but for 1977, 13 guessed right, 18 wrong, very solid. 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 hits, guessed right, short. And there's a lot of guys that just aren't very good long. Jim Hart's not one of them. 7 completions, guessed right, 11 guessed wrong. A little interception prone, as you see, but like I say, he's a guy who can make plays. Both these teams run the ball a lot. 2nd and 9, here's going to be a flat, incomplete. Looking for Wayne Morris, the fullback on that play. So 3rd and 9, probably, but not for sure. This may be one of those sets he decides to go 2 tight end instead of bringing in Odom.
All right, I'm back.
All right. It's an interesting set choice. I was wondering if he might go 2 tight end to keep the run a little more in play, thinking 4-down territory, but he will go Odom here. 3 wide receiver set.
But we wouldn't be surprised to see another off-tackle run by Testerman either.
Not at all. And there it goes. 5 yards. So again, we're probably just setting up a 4th down try rather than a long field goal try. But he has tried some field goals with Smith from range like this. But 4th and 4, I don't know. I think he'll go for it.
I agree.
I played him 3 times this year. He beat me all 3 times, but I remember one game, him going for a field goal in about that down distance situation, but it seems like the game was a little later on, like we're in the 3rd quarter stuff. So here we are, 4th and 4.
You're not going to get much help on the D cards if it comes to defensive rating. Those no sackle 0 or +5 or defensive end ratings, they're not going to go in the offense's favor very often.
Yeah, and if you don't, even if there's no linebackers there, you're not going to get much hits other than like 3, 4, and maybe 7. As you look at the off-tackle card there, even with no linebackers, 6 and 8 aren't getting you 4 yards. So,
yeah, he did. He in the last 3rd and short that he picked up, he did a look-in pass to Swan with Jay in a short yardage defense.
I want to say, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, see that plays a part.
Here's Morris getting the 4, 5-yard pickup, big play. So this drive has been going for quite a while. Take a quick ball position here.
Another nearly a fumble again there, 52.1 chance and a 53.
Yeah, already 16 plays on this drive, 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Massive
wow.
drive. 16 plays already.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes to 2 in time of possession so far.
This is like the New York Giants 2007 versus New England in the Super Bowl, upsetting the perfect season. New York just had 2 really long drives. I want to say the first drive of the game was like 9 minutes, and it led to a Ahmad Bradshaw touchdown.
Yep. 4-yard run there, grinding it out.
Yep, now they're in sweet field goal range. They don't lose any yards here. Kenny Anderson sipping coffee on the sideline. He wants to be out on the field. There's an off tackle left. McCutcheon guessed wrong. A little linebacker help. 8-yard pickup. That's going to be another first down. And the drive that wouldn't end has moved down to the Wilmington 13 now.
Up to 18 plays. When you have the ball for this long and for this far, you hate to settle for a field goal here.
Absolutely. The linebacker Harmon is going to pick up one. Low fumble chance for Harmon. Let's probably see Wilmington. No, they're not showing blitz. I thought they might show blitz from 12 yards out. Biggest advantage is the receiver card is not automatic if you hit that sniper scope.
And the pass rush hasn't played a part because he's mostly been running the ball and throwing flat.
He did that a lot during the regular season. He didn't lean too heavily on Hart, even though Hart had some turnovers. It wasn't because he was just, passing all the time. So linebacker Harmon guessed wrong. 2 extra linebackers, and that's going to be a loss of a yard. Set up 3rd and 10 from the Wilmington 13. This will be the 21st play of the drive, which has taken 9 minutes and 54 seconds.
Let's see if we see another run on 3rd down here, but maybe he's at the point where he knows that a sack might keep him in the good field goal range, so might as well open it up and try to get that first down.
Yeah, probably something around 8% interception chance just on the short pass here. But
Jay is showing blitz here, 3-3-5 showing blitz against the 3 wide.
If you'll go short, you might get the dump off and get a touchdown as well. So sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit.
There you go. Really, 3 really nice receivers in Burrow, Odom, and Swan. And
Yeah.
you already pointed out how nice the tight end is.
Yeah, I mean, Odom would be like Dallas's number 1 wide receiver. We don't have anybody that good. He's not even starting for the loaded core of Steubenville here.
Here's a pass to Shirk. Free safety blitz is coming.
4 men in the zone. Could it be a dump off? Nope, short incomplete. And there's a penalty on the play. Pass
Wow. The drive continues. We could possibly get a 25-play drive here.
22 is the count on the play.
Well, now you just pounded in here, even with all those good ratings and the good card, you're bound to get a yard if you hand it off to McCutcheon or Testerman or Harmon. All of those guys can take it in.
Yeah, it's hard to risk the interception here when you're this close, and you've got 3 different runners that you can go to as well as Hart, like you mentioned. So, and he's going heavy jumbo set, 3 running backs, 2 tight ends. Different coaches will key. I would not key as much in 77 the way our rule set is, because penalties might get you a -5. And I don't feel like if you can just survive a down or 2, you might get a break and get a penalty. So,
Good point.
always a chance of a fumble here, too. We had a Super Bowl in a different league a few years ago that Marshawn Lynch fumbled like at the 1. Dennis ended up winning the game anyway, but man, that's like deep in the playoffs. You don't want to like lose fumble inside the 5. I had a high fumble running back keyed in in the semifinal game. He didn't fumble, but gives you a little jump start of adrenaline when you get a run key on a high fumble guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second goal here. And he's out of the 3 running back, 2 tight end set, maybe just to give the possibility of throwing to Burrow. And if you're running line bucks, extra tight end's not going to come up anyway. You're short to shirt.
He hit it.
He fools me and completes it for the touchdown. I was thinking he was for sure just going to pound it there. And John Smith's really good on extra points. Like I say, he struggles from distance, but he's one of the more accurate short distance kind of kickers.
All right, I'll be right back again, Tim.
Okay. And he hits it on a 10. That would have been a miss for Wilmington's kicker. And Steubenville vying for the first Super Bowl in team history has a 10-0 early second quarter lead. Here's Paul Hofer with a 24-yard return out to the 30. It's going to set up Ken Anderson, who hadn't been on the field that much. Let's look at that crazy drive there. "23 plays, 11 minutes and 6 seconds, 92-yard touchdown drive." "39 minutes at least of football left, so no panic here." Here's a right flat guess wrong to Dupree. It's going to pick up 15. Nice receiving card for Billy Joe Dupree. He's a perfect run blocker, excellent receiver. This was pretty close to his prime of his career. I believe 1977 might have been about as good as he was. Cowboys won the Super Bowl that year, and like I say, that was right in his wheelhouse for being a great receiver. Same for Robert Newhouse. Your short fumble picked up by Steubenville. Will they try to advance it? No. Tom Jackson gets in there, hits Kenny Anderson, pries the ball loose, falls on it, and Jim Hart takes over at the Wilmington 37, 1st and 10. He's been running the ball a lot, and here goes Wayne Morris on a line buck for 9. It's 8 carries, 27 yards for Morris, who's got 12 unfatigued, and McCutcheon's still got 19 unfatigued carries. So one of Steubenville's best defensive players comes through with a huge play. There's a linebacker Hart, King McCutcheon, and he loses a yard as Greg Bingham jumps in there and makes the play. It's going to set up 3rd and 2 at the Wilmington 29. It's a flat pass right, guessed wrong. Wayne Morris picks up 10 and gets inside good field goal range. 6:36 left first half. Wilmington trailing 10-0, trying to hold Steubenville to a field goal attempt or get a turnover here. So offsides, and it's going to set up 1st and 5 at the Wilmington 14.
So you got to feel like you're a little bit, you're cursed if you're Jay in this game. Like every time he does something, it like goes wrong.
Yes. If you just get like a turnover or a stop here, keep it 13-0, you feel a lot better. But man, you're going to feel awful if you go down 17-0, as Wilmington, like we're talking about, has a little trouble blocking in the middle of their offensive line. And it came up there with Tom Jackson getting past, I believe, a 0 for the sack. And you don't want to get down 17 with that pass blocking.
So was it a high fumble chance on a run, or what was how did that fumble happen?
It was a sack fumble.
Oh, sack fumble.
Yeah, Tom Jackson was an 8 going against a 0 and got through and forced it. So good job bringing the linebacker blitz, and Dale got rewarded with a huge play. Now we're at 3rd and 6, 3-3-5, no blitz being shown. So we'll see a double team or see the line or the free safety move up and do something here.
Yeah, if Jake can get a turnover here, if we can get an interception or his own strip sack, that could be one way to turn this thing around.
Yep, we've seen Testerman running it here. Here he goes again. He's looking for a block more than anything. That's going to be containment. So it keeps it at 4th and 3. Probably see John Smith. So conservative call, just going to put some points on the board. But he's had good success running on those. Like I say, had you got a run block opportunity come up there, most likely going to pick up those 5 yards. So 13-0 Steubenville. Jay feels like he dodged a little bit of a bullet there, but he wants to get on the board before the end of the first half. With the touchback at the 20, you will see teams running it out a little bit more if you've got a good returner.
So now you just got to shake it off, pretend like it's 0-0, and play your game. That's a powerful offense, and just let it do its job.
Exactly right. If you're the way, especially in 1970, you just think, okay, somewhere in the second half, we're going to get a turnover, we're going to get the ball in good field position, and I don't want to cost myself the game between now and then. Just keep playing the game the way you went 15-0 to this point, and let the game come to you. We'll see if Jay might lean a little bit on the run game here. Loses yard, good call there. Newhouse, I want to say it's a short game, gets wrong there. Yep. You don't want to just let that pass rush dig in and fire back on you. So you've got to keep running if you're Jay.
Okay. Down what?
Stay in a 4-3, 3rd and 7. Long to Gene Washington, no man in zone. Defender extra long inning. Will he make the play? He does. For Curtis Johnson, who fell on a fumble earlier in the game, makes the play as a 5. And on 4th and 7, Pat McAnally back out to punt. "43 yards. Here's Kimbrough, dangerous return man. And there he goes. "70-yard touchdown, John Kimbrough." We talked about it before the game. Dangerous punt returner. And John Smith on to try to make it 20-0 Wilmington or Steubenville.
Well, what did I miss?
Kimbrough just broke a 70-yard touchdown on a punt return.
Wow, 2 games in a row.
Yes.
All right, I'll be right back again.
Okay. Here's the kickoff to the 1. 31-yard return for Jim Smith out to the 32. Again, if you're Wilmington, Jim Hart is a turnover guy. You've got a lot of time remaining in this game. You win the turnover battle usually in the regular season. You've got a punt returner with a 3 touchdown, or I think it's actually on 11. So Kimbrough ran well for a guy that's hurt. Jay's still got a good sense of humor. I'm sure on the inside, he's like not thinking so nicely, but here we go. Plenty of time remaining. 2 minutes left. Just going to get some points on the board. And like I say, hopefully breaks will at least even out for a few minutes, if not get better for Wilmington. 4-3 blitz. See if Wilmington takes a shot here. Off tackle draw, Linville Elliott. Gets the linebackers out of the zone. Only gets 1 on the play. Jay's just not getting the rolls even when he makes the right call. Steubenville Celts leading 20-0, trying to reach the Super Bowl for the first time in their history. Wilmington won the championship 2 years back. Incomplete to Dupree, setting up a 3rd and 9. Probably see Mandich, yes, 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver set. And with Newhouse, he's a 2 blocker if any asterisks are heading his way. They're short to Dupree. No blitz, no double team, incomplete. Only 2 of 7, 78 yards for Anderson, but most of those yards came on like a 63-yard pickup to Gene Washington, who lost a fumble at the end of the run. So there's Eddie Brown picking up 4 on a punt return. He's got steady yards and a 43 on 2, but Kimbrough's obviously the dangerous guy. So we'll see what Dale wants to do here. Wilmington really like to set up a chance for a punt block, punt return. Ray Guy doesn't have a block, but you can always get one if you go for the block. I was off tackle from McCutcheon's going to grab 6. If you're Wilmington, you almost want to take a timeout. Neither team takes one yet. Just want to give yourself a chance for something positive to happen. A snap fumble, like say a punt return touchdown, a block punt, a shanked punt, something weird, get on the board. Here you go. Fumble picked up by Wilmington, and he returns it to the 30. That's exactly what I was talking about. You've got to get some kind of a break, and 3 timeouts remaining. We'll see what Wilmington can set up. Minersky's a pretty good field goal kicker. He's got fairly good range out to the 32. Like I say, he struggles a little on extra points, missing 10 and 11, though. Reggie Harrison's got a really nice get strong card. We'll see if he tries to use him. There's an off tackle left, extra man in the zone, 9-yard pickup. As you see, nice chunks, 10 chances of short gain, plus another plus 33 on 2, and then you've got plus 9 on 7 and 12, plus 8 on 3, plus 7 on 4 and 11. So almost everything is plus 7 or better, except for 9's plus 4. And of course, the dreaded 5 is only plus 1. There's a flat right to Dupree, picks up 9. Here's Dupree again, double teamed, good call, picks up 6. Kenny Anderson getting the ball in there anyway. And Wilmington will use their second timeout. 30 seconds left, ball to 15. So Wilmington trying to get a touchdown here if at all possible. And they'll feel a lot better about the second half. Not an insurmountable lead by any stretch of the imagination. Here's short to Joyner. He's being double teamed. Dump off still possible. It's going to be incomplete, but a penalty offside Steubenville. In the IFL Super Bowl of 1966, Dallas led Alexandria 20-0 at the half, and Alexandria scored 4 touchdowns in the next 18 minutes and ended up winning 28-27. So 20-0 in one half could be changed by a 20-0 or higher run in the next half. No guarantee the game will stay on the same trajectory. At 1st and 5, still 22 seconds and a timeout. Off tackle Elliott. Man in zone, gets 0. We'll see what their clock options are here. He might spike the ball here. Being at the 10, they'll take their timeout. He can still spike the ball at this point. If he makes a play that stays in bounds here, he can still spike it and get the field goal unit on. Dump off has been turned off. Less than 30 seconds left in the half. Here's a short pass double team. It's going to be a sack. We'll see Kenny Anderson spike the ball quickly. And Rolf Benershka. We'll try to get Wilmington on the board here. Oh, man. Just can't get anything to go right in this half.
It's been that kind of day so far for Wilmington.
It has. I'm going to go grab some coffee real quick, Dennis. Man, that is just, you really wanted a touchdown there, and at worst, at least get a field goal and get on the board. That really hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure that Steubenville will take a knee here. Everything's gone their way. Let's take a look at the stats. 12 first downs for Steubenville, only 3 for Wilmington. Wilmington 0 for 3 on third downs, while Steubenville's 4 for 8. Steubenville's had 2 first downs converted thanks to penalties, and Wilmington has had 1. And time of possession, again, this is probably the most lopsided I've seen in a semifinal game. 23 minutes for Steubenville compared to 7 minutes for Wilmington. 23 minutes, 1 second for Steubenville, 6 minutes, 59 seconds for Wilmington. And that's really been the story, is that you look at the ball possession report. Wilmington's gone 1 and out. They had the long play and a fumble, 4 plays and they had to punt, 2 plays and a fumble, 3 plays and a punt, another 3 plays and a punt, and now the last one, 7 plays and a missed field goal. That last drive they got after their first turnover, they got the ball thanks to a fumble, but they couldn't turn it into points.
And even with the punt return touchdown, they had a 23-7 advantage in time of possession. Usually don't get it like that and have a punt return touchdown thrown in there too.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah. If you look at Steubenville's breaks, they've had the punt return touchdown, and then they had 2 really long drives, an 11-play drive for 53 yards that resulted in a field goal, and that 23-play drive for 70 yards capped off by a rushing touchdown or a passing touchdown after we were all expecting them to run from the 2-yard line. They threw it to their tight end, connected with him for a touchdown, and then they got the break at the missed field goal by Wilmington after Steubenville fumbled it. So just everything's coming up roses for Steubenville today.
Yep. While you were away, I was bringing up in the IFL Super Bowl of 1966, Dallas was ahead of Alexandria at the half, 20-0, and about 18 minutes later, Alexandria had a 28-20 lead. They had 4 touchdowns, and 3 of them were like a punt return touchdown. I believe Mike Garrett had like a 45-yard run. I believe he had like a 50-yard pass for a touchdown, and you just look up. There's nothing you're doing differently. It's just a couple of breaks go differently, a long gain, and boom, the game's tied all of a sudden, or you're behind all of a sudden. So,
yeah, I can't imagine that, with Wilmington having a 14-0 season, that they were behind very much at halftime. But I'll do some research on that and get back to you.
Yeah, they did have a great comeback to win in Week 13. It was like a almost for sure loss that he snatched from the jaws of defeat with a really good late comeback.
So they were trailing at halftime in that game, 21-12. So they had a 9-point halftime deficit. They overcame to win that one.
It's not like they can't come back, but they need to do it with special teams and defense helping some, because, like I say, they don't pass block well in the middle of the offensive line, and you can't make up first downs on sacks that often. If you get a -8 or -9, it's almost for sure going to lead to a punt or a turnover.
Yeah, those are drive killers for sure.
So with Wilmington, you've kind of got to stick to the run, play defense. Like say, hope you can get maybe your punt return touchdown, which comes on 11. Maybe punt return touchdown comes up, or you get a Jim Hart interception and a quick 7 that way, or at least field position. But it's going to be hard to just drive down and score with 3 70-yard drives, and you'll get into a clock situation if Steubenville gets on the board at all in the second half.
So after looking at it, they did have 3 games for the season that they came back after having a halftime deficit. We talked about the one against Rockford. There was also a game against Irvine where they trailed 10-3 at the half. Irvine was up, so they were trailing by 7 there. And then another game against Wyoming, they were trailing by 4 points, 17-13. So they overcame halftime deficits 3 times. Obviously, this will be the toughest test and in the most important game. Looks like they're getting ready to kick it again.
All right.
And the best thing about both these coaches, very good sports. Not neither one's going to be whining and complaining about their bad luck.
And there we go. That's what Jay needed. 48-yard kickoff return to open the half.
You go down and get a touchdown drive here, and it feels much different.
Yes. So, plenty of attempts left for Newhouse, of course. 18 remaining. Armstrong's 15 remaining. Incomplete. Flat right, Armstrong. Paul Hofer's got a crazy good card coming up, I believe, in 79. Steubenville show blitz occasionally. Not showing it here. There's a linebacker Newhouse, guessed wrong. 6-yard pickup, gets out of containment, 3rd and 4. Down 20 nothing. A little, even though they normally aren't a 4th down team, a little more likely that Jay's going to think about it on 4th down here.
Yeah, good point. And despite it, Wilmington coming in here at 15-0, this isn't like what you would think of as a dominating offense. They've been doing it with their defense all year.
Yeah, this is, to me, not like Wilmington of 74-5, where you feel like you're going to lose 30 to 10 for sure. You feel like you can stay in against this Wilmington team, and if you could win the turnover battle, which they normally win, you feel like you could beat them. Here we are, 4th and 4. I personally would go for it here with the score being what it is. I know you would. Good call.
You have to. I mean, even though there are a lot of outs here for Steubenville, but you gotta press your luck.
Yeah, you've got to get all the way to the 22 to get in the sweet field goal range, even though a field goal is a big play here if Steubenville gets another field goal. There's a guess right short. You've got dump-off possibilities here. 12-yard must run. Kenny Anderson says, I'll take this.
Nice. He gets a first down there on 2 through 8.
Kenny Anderson had a huge end run in the 1974 Super Bowl at the end of the game in regulation to set up a game-tying field goal, but Chiba City ended up winning in overtime. But Anderson had a huge run in that game. I remember right at the end of the regulation.
Yeah, he doesn't have an end run card this card set, so he's going to have to do it via must run or through the strength of his arm.
2nd and 9.
And Dale's still mixing in run calls, even though he's up by 20.
Yep. Not showing blitz. Linebacker, guess wrong, Newhouse. Man in zone. Short game. So Jay's got the good kickoff return, but he's also moved down into possible touchdown range here at the 20. Joyner and Gene Washington, really nice receiving cards. So you got a guess wrong Washington here. Incomplete. You get a receiver card and they hit it. They can get inside the 5. Or maybe even score. They're very nice. 19.9 for Gene Washington. And as you see, almost all of his catchers are going to score from the 20. So
nice.
Reggie Harrison, very nice guess wrong card. And he's going to go off tackle right. Guess wrong. Beat Doug English, 6-yard pickup. Really nice pickup there for Wilmington. They're having a little better fortune here in the early part of the 3rd quarter, setting up a 3rd and 4 to 14. Pro set, no blitz. So linebacker guessed right, Newhouse. No linebacker help. He's going to get it, 4 yards. So Wilmington's offense showing signs of life here on this drive. Move down to the 10, have a 1st and goal. You'd rather the 1st and goal be at the 10 versus the 9. At least keep for 1 down that flat pass.
Absolutely, and especially when you have 2-4 linebackers against the pass.
Yep. Big time picks off of especially Steubenville, but both team Ds have really solid picks. Above average is a better way to describe Wilmington's, but then you've got Hart with quite a few. Anderson doesn't throw picks, but like I say, Steubenville's D does. With 4 men, it's like straight out on 9. There's a look in, 1 man in zone, guessed right. Billy Joe Dupree, incomplete.
Anderson, three for 12 so far today, so 25%.
Almost all his yards on that big play that ended up being a fumble by Gene Washington. Take a look at Linville Elliott. I think an end run at Elliott is really one of the plays Jay likes, a situation like this. You maybe get into a point where you're going to go for the touchdown, even if it's going to be a guessed right linebacker. Like you say, Dale's doing a good job of calling run, 4-yard pickup.
And he did move 2 guys into that look-in zone, trying to maximize his chances for turnover on his own card.
Yep, and he's got something like 6 interceptions with 2 men there. So 3rd and goal at the 6. Now, Dale's been calling on a run. Jay's obviously noticing that, but you're in that situation where if you get 3 to 4, you might just have to go for it just due to the score. You don't want to depend on 2 separate field goals and 2 separate touchdowns and all that just to get you to a tie if you make your extra points. So I feel like Jay's really leaning. He goes 4-2-5 blitz. I think Jay's really leaning toward going for a touchdown on this drive.
This might be your end run to Elliott
Yep.
prediction coming down late.
You may be right. Off tackle.
Short gains on 6 and 8. And there's
There
one.
he goes. And Jay comes through with a big drive. And again, Benershkin misses 10 and 11. So needing 3 successful extra points, these will all be big. Makes the first one 20-7.
He wouldn't mind missing one if that meant that he was tied. He just wants to get back to where he has a chance to tie the game.
And that stop at the end of the first half looks a little bigger now. Had Wilmington it just made the field goal, 2010, definitely feel closer, but definitely has a different feel at 20-7 than 20-0. Turnover could really help Wilmington's chances here.
And this is where if you're Dale, you don't want to go too conservative. If you run 3 times and have to punt, that's not going to help you.
Here's a guess right, short pass, Hart, incomplete. And as we mentioned earlier, Morris has a little bit of fumbles. If you happen to want to risk a key on him, you can get something like a 80 fumble keyed. So you might see that if the down and distance happens to be right. It's an end run guess wrong, McCutcheon. He's going to get 5. Containment will still be in effect. And we've seen Dale running it quite a bit in situations where containment's in effect with Testerman early in the game.
This is where you feel better about having those 6 linebackers for containment. So
Yes.
but all of his runs today really have, aside from McCutcheon on the end runs, he's mostly been running off tackle or linebackers. He's been running inside a lot.
Yes. Here's off tackle left, McCutcheon. He's going to get 15. So he's had some rewards getting it off the defensive card, of course, because containment is absolute with a 6. But he's had a couple of pickups there, hitting the 4 off the defensive card, once for a +5 and there for a +15. 7:12 left, third quarter. Time's not an issue just yet. Long way from field goal range. There's Morris for 2.
Dale's doing a good job. Like you said, he's got plenty of carries. 14 unfatigued left for McCutcheon, 10 left for Testerman, and he's mixing in Wayne Morris. And who was the other guy? The other fullback?
Clarence Harmon.
Yeah, so he's got plenty of carries left, no matter which way you look at it.
Short to Swan, incomplete. Put in receiver, guessed wrong. Jay's called correctly the first 2 downs of this set of downs and got into a 3rd and 8. We'll see Jay go to the 3-3-5. Probably not showing blitz. He doesn't have a great pass rush.
Yeah, you got to think that at one of these times that Dale's not going to convert a 3rd and 5+ by running it against those defensive ratings and cards.
And one of Jay's weaknesses is the short 3-man. He gets up like 13. So, but Jay would kind of see Jim Hart chunking some of those short passes, maybe get a pick. So here we go again. Touchdown and 11 for the number 1 punt returner, and he's going to get a shot. Keith Moody, 18 yards. Nice pickup.
I think Dale accomplished what he wanted to on that drive. Moved the ball, kept a little bit more time. You're giving less time for that Wilmington offense to drive down the field. And like you said, they're looking for, 5, 6, 7 yards a run. They're not really giving up big chunk plays because Anderson doesn't have great card.
Yep, and you don't mind if the offense gets a long drive, if you can turn one or two of those long drives into field goal attempts. Incomplete, Gene Washington.
You needed that one. 5 or 6 would have gotten it.
Yep. As you see the big picks there on Steubenville's card, but if you're throwing to like Washington, give yourself a chance at hitting one of those flat pass long games that a wide receiver can offer that you don't get from the running backs as much. The line but gets right again. Dale calling run, 5-yard pickup. Harrison would have had 6 and broken containment, but we're still in contain, 3rd and 5. But you're in the situation now. See if Kenny Anderson goes to the hard count. If you get the defense off sides, you get a first down here.
Yeah, I don't think you're quite in 4-down territory yet, but if it's 4th and 1, or maybe 4th and 2, with his runners guessed right, you might consider it.
Guessed right, flat pass right, Mandich. -2. And it's going to set up a punt for McAnally.
Yeah, you got to punt there. And this, again, just the roll seemed to be going Dale's way still.
We'll see if he keeps punting to Kimbrough or not. It's going to go to the number 2 guy, so no touchdown at least. Fair catch. So good field position gain there for Wilmington, but 3:36 left in the third, 20-7. Steubenville still on top.
And like you said earlier, there, with the high chance for a turnover here, still anybody's ball game. It's not over by a long shot.
Nope. We're off tackle McCutcheon. No yards. 18 for 88 for McCutcheon. Both these teams have won a lot with their defense. So when you're up 13, your defense is like, just don't lose it for us at this point, guys. But I agree. I don't think you can get overly conservative. You can't just go 3 and out, 5 and out, every other drive. You've got to hopefully get a field goal on the board in the second half, make it a lot tougher on one.
That was a 4% chance of a fumble for
Festerman, yep.
The random was a 57, so close. He would have had to key him to make that a fumble.
3rd and 7.
Look for another run here. I don't see why Dale would deviate from his plan.
Yep, he's gotten the 5 twice, or the 4 roll twice. He got the box once. So he's picked up at least 3 first downs off the defensive line.
Yeah, running at a 6 linebacker.
Yeah, on 3rd and 5 or more going at a 6. So he's had great luck with it so far. And here goes McCutcheon. It's not going to get a first down. Gets the clock under 2 minutes. And Ray Guy comes out on the field. It's going to go to the number 1 back. So we will get Moody with his 11 chance, 18 yards. So Wilmington is gaining field position just with Keith Moody. He's gotten 30 yards on punt returns here on the last couple of punt returns. And Wilmington now set up at Steubenville's 50.
He's exactly where he wants to be. He's got the ball down by 2 touchdowns or a touchdown, 13 points. He can, if he can get a touchdown here, there's just way too much time left to.
Yep. And still plenty of time that you would not pass up a field goal chance if it's 4th and 8 or something and you're in 2 through 8 field goal range. Oh, there's a short sack. Loss of 4.
He brought all the linebackers except for 1.
And he had a 1 through 40 max chance for the flat pass there and got a 30.
Yeah, I saw that. It was like 40% for all of the chances. So that's quite the pass rush that Dale has there. Yeah,
and like say, if you're checking Dale Wilmington's interior run pass blockers, that's their weakness. They are not strong on the interior. Got a 0-2, a 4-0, and a 5-0.
Wow.
And they were 14-0, so he's been working with that all year. Second and 14. Here's Harrison in the game. He's going to get a line, but guess wrong. He's going to get 6. Could have been worse when you saw the linebacker 1 or plus 6, but the 4 couldn't make the play. Hoping for the offensive cards, but with a guy flooding the zone, 6 yards, one of the better pickups he could get, and at least you're manageable where you can complete a short pass or get a dump off and hopefully pick up a key first down here. And again, if you get to a 4th and manageable, you're probably going to go for it if you're Wilmington down 20-7.
He stays in the 2 tight end, 2 tights, 2 wides with Reggie Harrison there. I think it's going to be a run.
I think you got a good chance of being right on that.
He's going to try to pull a Dale on Dale.
I think he's going to go to the right side as well. He might go linebacker again. He probably knows which is the best +8 column. But, yeah, I get a feeling you're right. I think this is a run situation for Jay.
He wants to break contain.
Off tackle right. It's going to get 3. Mike Butler, the right end, is out for the game. We'll see what kind of reserve right end he has. He's working against Leon Gray, so he's probably, whoever he's bringing in, is probably not going to get through against Leon Gray. Jim Marshall, 5 coming in.
If he had broken contain, I think he goes for it. But now with contain in effect and, the chance of pinning him inside the 10, well, he got to the 16. He'll let his defense do the work again.
Yeah. And you're still in a situation where you can almost count on points if you can force a turnover here.
Yeah, waiting for that next 18-yard return by Keith Moody.
Yep, I was just about to say you don't want to waste that 30-yard punt return advantage you've got working on this field and keep a little extra pressure on the offense when you've got them pinned inside their 20. Off tackle right, McCutcheon, guess wrong. No yards. 2nd and 10, 14:06 left in the game. Wilmington down by 13. Maybe switching to Harmon.
Yeah, pace is slowing down a little bit, but you can understand why.
Wayne Morris stays at a fullback. I think I know your answer here. If you've got a good pass rush, but not a great one, but you're in Jay's situation, do you go more pass rush here, showing blitz?
I do, but then you're giving him a chance to run draws and not, you don't want to be predictable.
Yeah, and flip the field with a sniper scope where you've got him kind of pinned right now. But I definitely look at that because if you could possibly get even if you're just going to show blitz and not blitz all the time and sometimes call run, but if you do happen to get the big sack, you can get the chance at the sack fumble and then the elevated fumble return from a sack fumble and maybe, get a quick touchdown or at least quick field position.
Yeah, sometimes you get into games like this. You get in games like this and you're like, okay, I'm going to show blitz. I'm going to blitz because I'm going to get a sack when he throws short. But you look at the box score. We're into the 4th quarter. Jim Hart's attempted 10 passes.
Yeah, I was just about to say, right now, you kind of are looking at maybe run keys if you're a gambling type on defense too.
Right.
So
if you're going to be calling run a lot, then you don't want to be blitzing.
Yeah. And we mentioned Wayne Morris is one of those guys, if you've got to target somebody, you might take a shot at whenever you think his number's coming up, trying to double or key him and getting into one of those, maybe you recover the fumble like one every 22, 23 times. So you get a pretty good payoff. Here's Testerman. And 3-3-5, three wide receiver. Interesting choice for Dale, especially here. He's probably just running Testerman anyway, right?
Yeah, running him right, just like you said.
And guess wrong, that is plus 20. So single back didn't come into play there, but could have.
And Testament's another one you could key and try to increase your fumble chances against.
Yep. 3rd and 8. Jay again stays 3-3-5. This is the defense to be in on 3rd and 8. If he's going to pick up those, you've just got to let him take his shots on those. Those are hard things to do, but here he goes again. Offensive tackle gets the block, +8. 4th conversion off the defensive guards on 3rd and long.
Down to 12 minutes to go.
And they're out to their own 40, so they've kind of gotten out of that field position rut they were in. Swan and Burrow are like, hey, we've been standing out here a long time, guys.
But isn't that the way it was in the 70s? You'd see these guys have games like this where you'd only have 15 passes attempted all game by the quarterback.
Yeah, and this is one of the differences. I'm a Chuck Noll fan, and one of his differences that I don't agree with, but that was he kept fishing for big plays. Even if they were going to have turnovers and sacks and 3 and outs and losing, 9 yards on an offensive possession, he was fishing for big plays a lot in their early days, thinking, if we screw up on offense, our defense will just bail us out. But we've got to get points on the board. And that's not the way most of the successful 70s coaches handled it. And as he mentioned, he evolved a lot during his times. He mentioned in 74, we were basically in a goal line set on 1st and 10 in the middle of the field just because that was the only thing we could do well. We could run the ball. And so we just doubled up on the runs, kind of like what the Ravens are doing in modern football. But Noel, even mentioned, as the 70s had gone on, he goes, our defensive guys, our stars are old. They're still good, but they're not great anymore. And he goes, we really needed the passing game to kind of help us out there. And our offensive line and Bradshaw and the receivers, we just changed as a team as the 70s went on, and they did. That had a lot to do with their success, I think.
Yeah, that's a good plug there by Jay. After seeing him pick up a first down thanks to a run block of 4 by off tackle Warren Bryant, he stuffed both zones there. That would have been a 5-yard pickup with the blocking back because it was a wide die 5.
Yep, and gets him into a 2nd and 11. And it's harder to get out of contain here for guys like McCutcheon. He's got a lot of 5s and 6s. And here we go, 13 yards. You run. You got Jay just really having to lean in on the run. Hart's hardly thrown the ball at all, and then you get a chance for a guess wrong and 13-yard pickup. 6 of 11, 52 yards for Hart.
Great timing there by Dale.
Yes. And their offense hasn't had to be great today. They got a punt return touchdown, and the defense has played excellent. Here's again Burrow short, again completed 15 on that one. So now they're at the cusp of really good field goal range, and the game clock and situation, if you can get up 16, no 2-point conversions, you got a really big lead in 1977. Is one of those short yardage, run key kind of situations in some ways.
Five unfatigued for McCutcheon and 10 for Harmon. There's 1 to Harmon.
There's McCutcheon making a block. You don't see the halfback making successful blocks all that often.
Yeah, McCutcheon wasn't your typical halfback, though, was he? He's a pretty big boy.
Yeah, he's a hybrid, and it's funny, early in his career, when he was the fullback and Jim Bertelson was a halfback, I believe Bertelson was a 5-run blocker in 73. So, and Cullen Bryant, another Ram of the mid-70s, All those guys are really good run blocking running backs. 2nd and 6 at the 19. You figure Jay's, yeah, he is short yardage. He gets a stop, and offsides Wilmington.
Wow, penalty.
Second.
Let's look at the penalties. Let me look at the penalty discrepancy today. Actually, it's been 5 on each side. I didn't realize that. I thought it would be more against Wilmington, but Wilmington's had 5 for 42. Steubenville's had 5 for 30.
As you mentioned on that one drive, there was like 2 penalties to throw Steubenville way back, and then 3rd and long, they get bailed out with a penalty. So,
Jay with a sigh. I know what he's thinking. I hate penalties, but
yes.
Like you said, it's probably not going to. Probably did not make it in today's game so far. Not entirely, anyway.
Right. So 2nd and 1. Full house being shown here at the 14. Jim Hart's not going to, loss of 1. Jim Hart's not going to be throwing many passes from here on out.
Yeah, it's no for sure thing, though. I mean, if he, even at the 3 through 12 range, he's 2 through 9. So you never know. He just wants to hold him to a field goal attempt here to see if he can get lucky on that roll.
Third and 2, full house. The Wilmington 15, 8:06 left in the game. Off tackle right, Harmon. It's going to be guessed wrong. It's going to get 3. 2 men in the zone. Jay had the play stuffed to the max, and the only +3 available there on 2. And of course, he got it. This is so far has been Steubenville's day to play the lottery, not Wilmington's.
1 out of 36 chance of converting that, and he did.
Yeah. Here's Wayne Morris, -1. Second and 11. In run right, McCutcheon. It's going to be guard. Doesn't make the block. Eddie Jackson, I believe it is. We'll set up 3rd and 14. Wilmington 16, 6:18 remaining.
This is the 17th play of this drive. This is the 3rd drive of the game where he's in double digits in plays.
Wow. And Wilmington, again, the league's best defense as far as points allowed and probably yards as well.
Goes to the 3-3-5 here, but you got to think he's going to call run.
Yep, and he gets 5, and offsides Steubenville, 3rd. Now they're out closer to the place where the wind could kick up. If you can just go ahead and call run here and maybe get a 0 or -1, you'll have a better chance of getting a missed field goal, keeping yourself a little closer to miracle.
Yeah, miracle comeback time. Do you risk a key? Oh, my. Forget about that. It's a big one. And that's all she wrote, folks.
It is. I mentioned that earlier. Wilmington's got an excellent run defense, but that they have a 2 long gain off tackle and run, and here's McCutcheon hitting it. McCutcheon with about 150 yards against Dallas in the divisional and 129 and a touchdown here in the conference championship. So Chiba City's going to get a red-hot Lawrence McCutcheon, it looks like, in the Super Bowl. There's Hofer bringing it out. Fumble. We're going to fall on it. And I think Jay is saying you should have gave me a blindfold for this one. This is really about as bad of luck as you could have. And when you've had an undefeated season, you know you've probably had one of these games that didn't come up, but man, you don't want it to come up right here. So.
Yeah, I don't think you mind losing if you're Jay. You just didn't want to lose like this.
Right. I think Dallas had a similar situation in '72 Super Bowl. We lost like 23-7 to Irvine. I think Irvine was actually a better team, but just by a hair. And man, when you're 13-1 the regular season, you don't want to lose 23-7 in the Super Bowl. But we all had those games that come up where you just don't have anything go right. 2nd and 20 at the Wilmington 3. Sacked by Doug English. Kenny Anderson only 19 yards outside of the one big play to Gene Washington, which 63 yards that ended in a lost fumble. So this will be Steubenville's first Super Bowl. They have made the playoffs quite a few times in the 70s. I think they've gotten to this game more than once, or more than twice, but at least twice, because I know they beat Dallas in the first round 2 different times. So I know they've gotten there twice, but this will be their first Super Bowl. Chiba City will be going to their 3rd Super Bowl recently, and they also went in '71 under different management. There's a flat pass right. Gene Washington's going to pick up 5. Stays in bounds. 4th and 15. Chances are almost as good at getting a punt fumble as it is making a 4th and 15 when the defense knows it's coming. And they do get the punt fumble. Speak of the devil. And Jay's like, now you're going to throw things like this on the stat sheet when the game's over, make it look like I was getting some of the grace.
Yeah, and this is one of those games where you look at the final score, you think it was a blowout, but this really wasn't anywhere near a blowout.
No.
Jay was like one play away from making it a single score game on several occasions.
Yep. When one of those sacks doesn't get through and turns into a big play the other way, all of a sudden, it was 2014 instead of staying at 20-7 for quite a while when Jay had good field position but just could not get the ball.
Yeah, right before it became 27-7, it was 20-7, 1st and 10 for Wilmington at the 50.
Yep. Steubenville had their second of 2 really massive drives where they put together a lot of yards, a lot of time off the clock. A lot of running plays. Chuck Knox smiling down from heaven, watching Lawrence McCutcheon just pounding away. 2nd and 4, 3 minutes left, 27-7, Steubenville. Regular season game, Wilmington won 27-0. They played in like week 12. Jim Hart threw 3 interceptions in that game.
Yeah, maybe Dale learned from Jay's blueprint in that game on how to do things.
Maybe.
And he certainly has flipped the script.
Yep. And Wilmington had the advantage in first downs and yards and everything in that game, but definitely 3 interception advantage is definitely a big deal. And they're down to the 17 now. Of course, you always keep playing the game out, hope for something really crazy to happen, but we're in the needing a couple of onside kicks point of the game almost here. Aaron Talbert with the sack. 2nd 15. Jim Marshall, still in the league, 1977. He was a charter member in 74. And I believe, let me think for a second. Yeah, I believe he's been with Steubenville for all 14 years. So
that's getting value. That's getting value for your pick.
Yeah. Don't let a guy run 70 yards the wrong way with a fumble return if they last 14 years. Steubenville offsides. Wilmington will take the penalty. Keep it on 2nd and down, 2nd and 10. Flat pass right Dupree. And another sack on a flat pass. Jack Youngblood gets by there.
Like you said early in the game, that Steubenville pass rush is hellacious.
It is, and protection is something Wilmington kind of played around this year. Didn't have to get into situations where they had to do a lot of guest right passing, but game situation just not there for the script that they like to play this year.
Yeah, I think that's one of the unique twists to IFL and to Tecmo as well, is because of the limitation on the number of people you can bring in via trade.
Yeah.
You know, if this was a modern league where you had unlimited, acquisitions, you might look at your team and say, well, I don't want to live with that kind of interior pass blocking weakness and make 3 or 4 trades near the deadline to get that shored up. But you can't really do that here. You have to live with a weakness because you can't bring in, unlimited number of players via trade.
Yeah, I mean, he shored up, I believe he dealt for like a 5'9" defensive end and a couple other things. But yeah, if you got 6 holes and you got 2 late first, like a late first and late second round draft pick, and maybe one of those has to get traded to fill one of those 3 holes by trade, you're not going to get everything. And yeah, if it was unlimited trading, yeah, I might give up a third for a 1-year, offensive guard, 4-4 or something.
Right. Or even like a 1-year 5'7" or 5'5" at center to really get one spot taken care of. But instead, he's been some, and let's face it, Jay was running a lot early, but he still got sacked 7 times by Ken Anderson went down 7 times, and one of those was a strip sack. So
Steubenville was doing this last week. They had 3 strip sacks of Billy Kilmer in the divisional round, so their pass rush is definitely playing very well. 7 sacks out of 26 dropbacks in this game.
That is crazy. That's the 70s, though, right? That's the 70s style of football.
You got to give Dale some credit. On these flat pass sacks, you don't even have the sack chance come up unless you have 5 guys on the line and you've called pass. So, he's triggering that pass rush by getting a 5th guy on the defensive line. Can't tell you how many times over the years I've watched a guy with a great defensive line, but guys just flat pass on him, and they don't bring that extra linebacker up, so they don't trigger all these guys that are like 10s and 9s and 11s because it's a flat pass, and you don't have a chance unless you've got 5 guys on the line.
Good point. Really good point. And Dale knows he's worried about all those pick chances on the flat pass too, even though he has a couple of 4s there. He's brought his free safety down and doubled up, look in, or the other flat pass, occasionally, and that really jacks it up, gives you those extra chances. So he can bring his linebackers a little bit more freely because of that fear.
Yeah, if you show the 2 linebackers and look in a couple of times, maybe try to force them out into the right flat. Even though it's still like a 4 or a 5 out there, you got the chance of the big pick or a big interception return if you do get a pick. So unless you've got a good flat pass quarterback, it's just not really a situation where you have to worry about it a whole lot unless you're leaving them open all the time. And we've got a 3-yard fumble.
Scott Turkin coughed it up, but he gets it right back.
So here's Ray Guy out, 1:22 left.
And you got to give Dale credit as well for calling run. He didn't just bring 5 guys to the line of scrimmage. He was calling run enough that got Jake comfortable enough to say, okay, I'm going to pass it on this down. And then he switched it up and called pass, and there comes his pass rush. Right. So he did a really good job mixing up his calls.
Yeah, and it goes back to something I remember as a kid listening to Tom Landry talk about. We have to talk to our defensive line all the time. You have to earn the right to rush the passer. We're going to play the run heavy on first and second down and earn the right to rush the passer on third down. And Dale did a good job of that. He called a lot of run and got Jay into 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s all the time, and then his pass rush kicked in. Long to Gene Washington. Flag on the play. He catches it for 35. Down to the Steubenville 36.
Yeah, flag was on Steubenville, so it's declined.
And Wilmington, again, you go back to they were, close on the last drive. They had a sack strip fumble. Into the first half, had those fell across for touchdowns, and the game situation stayed similar. Be a very exciting end of the game, but just 1 or 2 plays away for Wilmington the whole way. Seems like just can't get the big play right at the point where they needed it in this one. It's not like a big upset either. Steubenville's got a really good team, and there wasn't 3 games. If you replayed this season a few times, Wilmington's not going to go 14-0 all that often, and Steubenville's going to go close to 11-3 most of the time. They had a really good squad. And as you saw today, Dale's very comfortable and manages the team well. So good job by both coaches this year getting to the game, and first undefeated season in league history by the Generals, but just didn't get the breaks in this one to move on.
Yeah, I think it's another, speaking to the quality of the league, that there hasn't been an undefeated season before. Also to the balance of the league, because we have the dump off rule and the white die 6 rule. You're not going to be able to, and we all, we're using stock defensive cards. You're not going to be able to get those excellent pass defense cards where it makes an undefeated season more likely.
Yeah, with injuries and the fact that you can't really trade to make up for all your weaknesses, even if you want to. Yeah, there's a lot of things that kind of keep you from separating from all the other teams. Kind of keeps teams a little closer in some ways.
Yeah.
And seeing guys' futures in some ways, too, makes you want to stick with a guy who might not be the best. It's like, in the Tecmo League, I've got guys that, this isn't John Elway's best year, and it's definitely not like Matt Stover's best year. But you're going to keep those guys because long term, they're the guys you want to have and build around. But you may have to, kind of make do with them. Whereas in a lot of times in a modern league, you might or may not, when you don't know somebody's future, you may not stick with a prospect. You may find a way to upgrade your team and go for it more if you've got a good team.
Yeah, good points. You'll live with the weaknesses for a year or two, just because in the end it'll be worth it. Yeah,
I mean, you had like Dan Fouts in this league. He wasn't great early in his career, but he was good enough that he wasn't going to keep you from being a good team. But he's not as good as he will be in like 79, 80, 81.
Yeah, he's been stuck in a part-time role for the most part up until this point.
Yeah.
Either because of his limited attempts or the quality of his card.
Right. Kind of the same situation with Elway. Also, with me, I happen to have another good option with Rodney Pete. So, fortunately, I'm not having to kind of tough it, I guess you'd say, through the Elway years as much as I looked like I was when I first drafted him, because Pete's actually a guy that is almost as good in 89 and 91. had a great card in 90. It's just that was Elway's one good year out of a 5-year stretch. But it's kind of, the situation a lot of these teams have been in. This isn't Jim Hart's best year, but it's a good year for him. It's not McCutcheon's best year, but it's a good year for him. And, probably is like Ken Burroughs' best year. So you've got some guys kind of, at the top of their level, and other guys just kind of solid contributors sometimes. But Hart and McCutcheon, like I say, they've been the starting lead running back and lead quarterback for 4 or 5 years in a row at least.
All right, I'm going to check out here. Thank you very much, Tim, for letting me be a part of the broadcast, and congratulations, Dale, and great season, Jay. Just a shame to see it end this way. I know you would have liked to have it at least come down to the fourth quarter.
Yep, thanks for joining, Dennis, and good luck in the Super Bowl, buddy.
All right, take care.
Take care. I'm going to go ahead and shut her down to haven't had Dale join during broadcast this year, so I'm guessing he's probably not going to hop on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and shut down too. I've got a few things I want to do before dark, and now with daylight savings time working, I've still got like 2.5 hours. So thanks for everybody who's watching, and hope y'all have a great day. And we'll see you at the 1977 IFL Super Bowl.